Stu here with Raid Shadow Legends, back with another Masteries guide. I get asked still a lot, hey, I just got this new champion. What Masteries should I use on them? You should know by now. Look over the Masteries. They're easy to go over, and most of the champions are almost exactly the same. So a lot of the champions you're going to be using in PvE, right? PvE is where you get all your gear. It's where you do your clan boss, where the clan boss drops all the sacred shards, the legendary books, the epic books, void shards. It really drops the good stuff in clan boss. That's really in game right now in Raid Shadow Legends. You can't do much else in PvP but hit the cap of 3,199. So if you're focusing like you should be on the clan boss and on getting to level 15 of all the dungeons out there, then you're going to use a mastery pretty much like this on all your characters. Okay, I'm going to make myself disappear so you guys can see it. I'll see you guys later. Alright, so you're going to be looking at the offensive mastery. You're going to get the crit, which is right here. You're going to get the crit damage. You're going to do additional damage inflicted when the target has less than 40%. If you want to go Life Drinker, which is right next to it, it doesn't really give you that much health. You can. There are a lot of different things you can pick in between here. And if you're going PvP or a PvP mix of PvP and PvE, I'll show you another one of my champions in a minute where on the offensive tree we kind of go a little bit right and then we come back and then we might go to War Master or Giant Slayer. Now you're just going to keep coming down, and then Methodical right here, it increases the damage you do by your default skill up to 10%, you know, for hitting multiple times. Or you could go to the right of that, which is going to increase your inflict by 6% in arena and 3% in all other locations for each enemy killed by this champion. Now that's really good in dungeons, but still, it's still gonna, you know, you're gonna be doing damage either way. If you're fighting the clan boss, the other one's not gonna help you because you're not killing anything on the way there. But this one will help you all around, right? So then we're gonna go one more down, and we're at War Master. So War Master, Giant Slayer. Big question: if your champion skill 1 only hits one time, then you're gonna pick War Master. Even if it's skill 2 or skill 3 hits 2 or 3 times. Just go with War Master. It's much easier. If you want to do some complicated calculations and find out if they have a skill 2 that hits 4 times and then a skill 3 that hits 2 times, all together, you know, what would be better for it? War Master is easy. It's going to do well for you. If your champion hits 2 times on his skill 1 and then hits multiple times on his skill 2 or skill 3, it's up to you. If they hit 2 times on their skill 1, just going off their skill 1, War Master and Giant Slayer come out to be the same. So they're right nose to nose with each other, so you can choose either one. It really just depends on if their skill 2 or skill 3 does multiple hits. If their skill 2 or skill 3 does like 3 hits each, 2 hits each, 4 hits, then sure, go Giant Slayer. That's perfectly fine. And then of course if their skill 1 hits 3 times or more, always go Giant Slayer. It's going to benefit you more. So there's Giant Slayer. Now down here we also have other things that lower, that ignores the defense. You know, it's all conditional. And then also we do have the crit damage by 20%. If you want to use that, if it's just strictly a PvP character, you can use this. Now I don't have any characters that I use just in PvP. I use them a lot of other places. There's so many different dungeons that I could throw them into that I enjoy playing them. So I always pick War Master or Giant Slayer. They still do great damage to champions in the field and PvP. Especially if they have a high health pool, they'll do even more damage. So I prefer to stick with that. Defense doesn't have a lot to offer. There are very few people who use defense tree at all, so I wouldn't even worry about it. Just go over to support, and then you got things that increase your accuracy because you always want to land your buffs, debuffs. You've got things that increase your turn meter when buffs and debuffs fall off. Even if they don't have a buff or a debuff, which I'm going to show you one I use in PvP that doesn't apply any buffs or debuffs, I still went over here to get a little bit of support because the 5% chance to decrease the cooldown was nice. This is always the best because I have a lot of speed gear. So if I have full speed gear, this really increases my speed a bit. And then, you know, for Bad L, he does increase a chance to extend the duration of any buff. Fantastic. And increase the chance to extend any debuff. So instead of 2 turns, which is what he applies, a buff and debuff, they would be 3 turns a lot of times. You'll see it pop up. So it's really nice. It really outweighs the defensive stuff, which is a lot of conditional stuff. 50% chance to remove 1 debuff from the champion when they lose 25% health. You know, that's just me clicking on one of the defensive talents here. So these just seem to be a lot better. They do well for your champions. You're doing a lot of rounds when you go through those 2 waves and then you fight the bosses. use support. Don't worry about defense. I mean, look here on the bottom of defense, 200 defense. Yes, that's great, but you're going to have to give up War Master or Giant Slayer, which to me isn't worth it. You'll get more defensive. You'll have a more defensive champion. Yes, you'll take less damage, and if they hit off of defense, you're going to do a little bit more damage. But to me, it's just not worth it to go through all that stuff in defense, the defensive tree, to go all the way down here and then also decrease the damage of all allies by 5%. This champion takes it. You could pick that one. And then 5% chance to additional to do stun, sleep, freeze. These are all the very bottom ones on the defensive tree that I'm clicking on right now. And increase resistance. It just really isn't worth it. So let's go on to another champion real quick. I don't like long videos. I'm trying to make this quick. So offensive, here she is more, I use her more for PvP. Increase the chance to inflict targets with under shields. A lot of times people use shields in PvP, so that does fantastic there. Increased damage inflicted by 8% for the first hit on the enemy. Another one that's great, when I kill an enemy, I get a small shield put on me. But I still went down here and got War Master because I use her in a lot of PvP, a lot of PvE content as well, a lot of dungeons and stuff. Now she doesn't apply any debuffs, and she does not apply any buffs. She does lower the attack bar on her skill 3, so you know a little bit of accuracy doesn't hurt. And then also, what else do we have down here? The 1-2 increase. She has all speed gear on, so this increases her total speed, and 5% chance to decrease the cooldown. And this one I just picked just because I had leftover, right? I had leftover, so I just picked this. It doesn't really mean anything. But as you can see, you can go in here. I'm picking on Cycle of Violence, 30% chance to decrease the cooldown of a random skill. So you can pick other things within this offensive tree. It's not going to affect you that much. Pick what you think you're going to use, what you like. Increased damage inflicted on targets with stun, sleep, freeze. That's really conditional. I mean, do you really have a team that's going to do all these things all the time, that is really going to be up and be worth getting that additional damage? It's just, and then you have to pick that on all your heroes for that whole team comp to really blend together. It's just not worth it. Do other things that will give you damage like this, or when they're at increase inflicted by 6% when attacking a target with higher max health. You know, you're fighting Sir Nick, you know he's going to have a whole bunch of Vrask. You're fighting him, he's going to have a whole bunch of health more than you. These things are just much easier to use. You're going to do additional damage when you kill things. They just seem better for a lot more situations than increasing damage inflicted by 5% for each dead ally. Hopefully you're not going to have dead allies. You don't want that. So I don't think you're going to pick this talent. So you don't have to go ask your friends anymore. If you get a new hero, you get somebody, let's Steel Skull. You get Steel Skull. You're like, hey, how should I do his masteries? You already know. You know it's the offensive tree. It's the support tree. You're going to go down. You're going to get crit damage. You're going to look at the rest of them. If there's something you like, hey, grab it. You don't have to get this one that does additional damage when they're less than 40% HP. You don't have to get all these things, but definitely you want to get War Master. You want to get Giant Slayer. So whatever your route is, down to it, you know, it's really up to you. You're not going to lose out. If you pick something different, you might do better. It might be a few percentage, 1 or 2, but it's your pick. You know, it's your enjoyment in the game. So choose what you like. Over here in support, you see he doesn't have 100% to apply his debuff on his skill 1, so I gave him an additional 5% chance to apply those debuffs, and then to extend his debuffs, because on his skill 1 he applies those 5% poisons, which are fantastic. This guy is a killer on the clan boss. So that's it. You don't have to ask your friends anymore, hey, I just got this new character, what do I do? You already know what to do. You know the masteries to pick. You read through them all, familiarize yourself with all of it, offense, defense, support, so you know yourself. And after seeing this video, maybe you know a little bit more, maybe you know the same, that's fine. But you know, you should feel confident in picking what you like. And then once you're done picking it, or you know what you want to pick, sure, you can ask a friend if that's okay. But they're probably going to tell you more than likely that these are the ones that matter. Get that increase stuff to your buffs or your debuffs, and then get that damage and go all the way down for the PvP and PvE mix. That way you can do both with all the champions you have. Anyways, I'm back. Woo! So that's it for I have for masteries. If you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments below. I will answer them. I'm always checking. I like to communicate and build a community of people I can talk to about all these games that I love to play. And I will see you on the next video.